Hi Pisces, welcome to your March 2020 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. And before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, you're new and improved, right? Bringing you lots of different changes this year. You know I like to keep you on my toes. You know I like to keep you on your toes, and you know I like to keep it fresh. So I'm evolving everything that I do towards what I'd like to do, and encompassing more of what I do, and bringing you different topics, but also using new formulas to do the same stuff so that it keeps it fresh, it keeps it relevant for all of us. With that said, you asked, and I am here to deliver your full moon and new moon astrology as part of your monthly taroscope. So I'm going to jump straight into it. Your full moon in March, on the 9th of March, is in Virgo. A full moon in Virgo happens to be in your 7th house, Pisces. This is all to do with your partnerships. It's all to do with your collaborations. It's all to do with your business, professional. So I say personal, platonic and professional relationships. This is all about the other in your life, whatever or whoever they may be. So this is happening in your love and relationship sector, and it sees your, I've got my trusty notes here, it sees your relationship coming under the spotlight in some way, shape or form. Now remember, a full moon is a culmination, it's a completion, where I say that although it's the end of pregnancy, it's the beginning of motherhood. So it's an ending, but it's also a beginning. And the full moons, new moons and solar and lunar eclipses, they're like toolboxes that the universe gives you to say, okay, now that you know, whatever you have come up from this point onwards, you have tools to deal with this. You just need to dip into and delve into it. So remember, Virgo has a very maintenance sort of vibe about it. Virgo rules the 6th house, and the 6th house is all to do with how you maintain the things that you have. And that's why sometimes it represents hard work. Sometimes it represents needing to do the work. This could be where you're looking at the relationship itself. You know, especially if you're in a bond, if you're in a relationship, you could be focusing on that this month, around this time from the full moon onwards, and asking yourself, okay, you know, what do I need to know about my relationship? What does it need? What does it not need? What needs to be added? What needs to be taken away? It could see you needing to give a once over to your relationship to see if it's as healthy as it appears. You could also be made more aware of your partnerships in general, with the moon highlighting these and opposing the sun in your 1st house. So by this time, you know, we're well into Pisces season, and this could be you really feeling this energy. This could be you know, you're obviously, the sun is highlighting you, but the full moon is highlighting the other. So this is about the bond and the relationship that you have. It looks like you being really able to see what your relationship and its state says about you, and also it could see you, you know, asking yourself, what am I prepared to give to this relationship, or forging good connections at work as well. Now, this full moon is in a stressful angle to Uranus, which is conjunct Venus in your 3rd house. This might look like a dire need for communication, and could see that communications between you and a loved one or a partner or a collaborator, it could see that you really need to drill down, that you really need to pay attention to this. Because remember, the full moon is a spotlight. This is shining light onto something that needs to be observed, that needs to be worked with, around or in. What you're being asked for here is more clarity and communication, and it might highlight what is either ready to end or needs to be fixed. So this is kind of a crux point for you. It's interesting because Aquarius had this as well, but I think it was for their new moon. So excuse me, very, very interesting energy coming in for you. And it's interesting as well because these are in this full moon is sorry, the Venus and Start again. Venus and Uranus, which are conjunct in your third house, are also squaring Saturn, which might see your communications about a relationship coming under fire or being reprimanded in some way. It may be a friend sort of points something out to you about your relationship, and has you kind of thinking about things in a really different way. The big questions are, what do you want? And if you're not getting it where you are now, what is the right thing for you to do in terms of yourself and for your partner? Your relationship in some way might constrict you and make you feel like you're, maybe not able to say what you feel all the time, or maybe that will come into question. Now, this full moon is trine the 11th house, which has got Mars in it. You could gain a lot of support from friends as a relationship either ends or comes under some sort of strain. You could also be very proactive about improving your social life as a couple or as a unit, and this might be the injection of energy that your relationship needs. Maybe it needs more sociable outlook. Maybe it needs to get a fresh breath of life with meeting up with people, going out more, living life, so to speak, being in and of the world. This could bring some much needed fun and energy to a relationship, yeah, for sure. It's also trine Jupiter. You could gain some opportunities for more fun, excitement and growth. It could also bring some expansion and fresh perspective to some fundamental truth about your relationship. So, there might be moments where, somebody points something out to you just as an observation to them, but it really strikes a chord with you about your relationship. Trine Pluto, you could be striving for and want big and deep change in your relationship, and if you don't get it, you could start seeking elsewhere. This could be in whatever way, shape or form. So my advice is open up the dialogue, because the chances are, under this kind of energy, especially with Jupiter in the mix, I'm not saying that you're a cheat or that you would. I'm saying that the potential or the temptation may very well arise because you're not getting what you feel you need in your relationship. Your own goals and dreams could be enhanced by a good relationship that will require trust and openness. And that's really true of all of us for everything in life, isn't it? But it does look like you might be forging a connection of some sort that could really be beneficial for you, and being honest and open with that person and trusting them could really go a long way for you. Finally, you could be receiving some really great news that ultimately frees you in some way of the pressure of a relationship, and this could push you to make a certain move. Either way, things will very likely not be the same again after this full moon, so embrace it as best you can. This is kind of it, right? Anything that happens in our 7th house, we have to, especially if we're in a relationship of any sort, we have to pay attention to, because it's kind of highlighting the relationship itself. Yeah, that's what I have to say on that. So, a bit of a mixed bag, but everything in life is what you make it and what you bring to it, right? This isn't, and try not to think of these as events. These are going to be energies and trends and themes that open up and expand around you or off the back of these, these lunations that take place. So over on the opposite end of the month, on the 23rd of March, you have a new moon in Aries. This is all about beginnings. It's all about fresh starts. It's all about, planting seeds. This is the time where you set your intentions. And so the other thing about the Virgo full moon as well, just to backtrack quickly, whatever you set into motion around the Virgo new moon back here in last year is what you'll start to see the fruits of in the Virgo full moon here in March. So what you need to be aware of here is whatever seeds and intentions you plant now around this Aries new moon, you'll be reaping the rewards of 6 months later, roughly, give or take, when the Aries full moon hits, right? So pay attention to that. Now, this new moon for you is happening in your seventh house. It's happening in your 2nd house of your earned income, your personal monies, the money that you make from the job that you have, from your skills, from your talents, all of those things. And now it could be a boost in terms of your income or your finances is coming in for you. This might make for some very welcome news for you. The new moon in your is changing your financial outlook in some way, and it also your actions in terms of your finances. So you could be getting really sort of proactive about how you use your money, how you use your resources. What are the skills and talents that you have that could bring in more money? What are the skills and skills that you have that maybe are latent and not making as much money as they could be or should be? It could see you getting really serious about how you do everything when it comes to your money, and very proactive about improving your financial situation. So yeah, there is also Chiron in the mix of this. So you've got the sun and the moon at 4 degrees, you've got Chiron at 5 degrees. So this is a tight conjunction between all of these. And Chiron is like it's your wound, your baggage. It's where you may have felt something acutely. And because this is taking place in your second house, this is about your finances. Where have your finances taken a hit? Where have your skills and your abilities not been given the credit that they should be? All of these things could be coming up for you now. And if you're feeling undervalued when it comes to your work, your profession, or even your partnerships, you could really feel that this month. And around this new moon, you might be seeking to undo that sort of, that experience. It could also, when it comes to your relationship, it could see you expressing, addressing the elephant in the room when it comes to money. So consider that as well. The new moon is square in the node. So with Cancer, it's in your 4th house. Is that right? No, it's in your 5th house. Sorry, my bad. That's that Mercury retrograde. So this could see you really kind of looking at the whole financial situation and saying, right, okay, how do I get the most out of everything? How do I enjoy my resources? Are there enough resources left over for me to enjoy? Is there enough money in this for me for me to do the things that I want to once all of the bills are paid? And if not, what am I going to do about that? How do I bring more fun and enjoyment into my life? And ultimately, how do I bring in the kind of resources that I need to enjoy life on a more consistent basis? So square in the South Node in your 11th house, a friend's outlook or input might challenge you because it could see a friendship at odds with something to do with the home or possibly a partnership. It might be very tricky to navigate because it will be you'll be able to see all aspects of the conversation. So this could be that you're seeing things from everybody's viewpoint and you're kind of being put on the spot or in the middle for it. Just consider that this month is really about you. Find a way to talk about this, and ultimately, I think one of the things that I said to the other sign as well that had this kind of combo was, sometimes you're just going to have to get used to the fact that your partner and your friends don't get on. Sometimes you're going to have to get used to the fact that maybe your parents and your partner don't get along, or any of those sorts of combinations. Sometimes it just is the case, and sometimes it is just what it is. All right, so your but yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had here as well, lots of enjoyment. So for your cards, for your actions and interactions with the world at large this month, you get the Queen of Wands, right? So this is great because it's about you really reaffirming your boundaries. This is about you kind of saying, you know what, this is what I'm into, this is what I'm not into, this is what I'm happy to do, this is what I'm not happy to do. It could see you really speaking your truth. You could be very bold, very daring this month. You could just be going after the things that you want in a more dynamic way and really finding that sort of energy, passion and stride behind you and saying, right, you know what, I'm going to go after what my heart's desires are. But obviously, if you're going after them, you got to figure out what they are. And if you're figuring this stuff out this month, you could be very proactive about going after them, especially when it comes to the job, when it comes to the partnership, when it comes to the money. All of these things are coming up for you. So it sees you really kind of paying attention to them. So your Queen of Wands is also a fire sign female. This would be an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. This person might feature for you in some way, shape or form. It might just be an aspect of you that is really now coming to the fore, or waking up, or coming back into being. Either way, it's going to be a really fun and very dynamic month for you, because the Queen of Wands, aside from everything else, she's flirty, she's fun, she's sexy, she's vibrant. She loves to live life. She loves to laugh. She likes good things. She likes nice things, but she's very proactive about getting those things for herself. So, you know, this is one of those, oh, you women who independent, throw your hands up at me. It's very much that kind of energy, right? So for your money and materials, you've got the Seven of Cups, and this really is it. This month you're figuring out where the money is going, what is a waste, what is a blessing, what you need, what you don't need, what you're willing to chuck out or get rid of or let go of, and what you're really streamlining the whole process of your finances. Whenever I see the Seven of Cups, I say to people, you need to streamline whatever it is that you're doing. You need to bring things into a bit more of an alignment at the moment. So this Seven of Cups is a really gorgeous energy for you, because it kind of brings that confusion, that mystifying sort of energy out. Now, what's interesting here is Mercury is retrograde currently in your sign. Now, at some point in March, it is going to go back into Aquarius, then go direct and come back through your sign. And as it moves forward through Pisces, that will be, especially as it goes over the final degree of its shadow, which will be around the 29th of March. So this whole month will probably see you looking, you know, really thinking hard about the money. You know, what do I do with my finances? Are they fairly distributed? Am I getting a good deal? Am I paying too much? Am I accepting too much? Maybe, you know, what is the give and take ratio when it comes to finances? It could also see you really paying attention to where you might be assuming a financial responsibility or burden that shouldn't be yours. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Ace of Pentacles, but there is hope here for the money, right? I mean, this is the thing. You've got a new moon in the second house, so you're getting that proactive vibe energy behind you, and you know that you're ready to start making more money or welcoming more money into your life, which is a beautiful energy. This really puts you in a great space, because it means that you're being, you know, you're really gung-ho about it. Now, the Ace of Pentacles, fresh start, new beginning in your conversations and communications. So this does look like it's welcoming either some sort of new energy or new lease on life when it comes to your communications. Maybe this is about you deciding, you know, really scrutinizing the finances and having those big financial conversations, which is always a good thing, right? It's always a good thing. It does suggest that a lot of your communications and conversations will be very practical this month, and for a select few of you, there's a job interview coming up. For your heart and half sector, you've got the Two of Wands. So this really is a big point for you guys. You know, for those of you that are partnered, this could be the month where you're deciding, am I going to am I going to be single from here on in, or am I going to stay in my relationship? You see how this person is choosing between the wand behind them and the wand in the forefront with the world in their hand. This is, you know, aside from everything else, this is about you asking yourself, is the relationship that I'm in now giving me everything that I want, or am I ready to move on? This is the question. And it could see you having some of these big conversations this month. The energy is definitely there for it. You could be examining, re-examining and going over the relationship, you know, time and time again, because you've got Mercury retrograde in your sign. The sun is also in your sign, which is spotlighting and highlighting you and making you ask the bigger questions of what do you want? What do you need now? And the Two of Wands is basically saying to you, do I feel like I'm getting everything that I need from this relationship? So there's a big question being asked. And it's a question that only you can really answer. For those of you that are single, this could be great, whether this is on the way to a job interview, whether it's maybe considering some sort of travel. There does appear to be somebody new on the horizon for you. I can tell you this person is very affluent, very wealthy, very likely very well traveled as well, somebody that has seen the world and is now looking to settle down with somebody nice and decent. So for all of you, in some way, shape or form, there are good connections being forged with people that are movers and shakers, let's say. which I really like as a card. You know, it does suggest some good stuff is on its way to you. It just kind of depends, obviously, on where you're at and what it is that you require now. So for your weeks of the month, for the first week of the month, you've got the Moon card right underneath your Queen of Wands. So yeah, when it comes to your actions, you really are looking at everything and you're looking to demystify everything now. This is about you saying to yourself, right, you know what, even though I'm a Pisces, even though I do the whole flirty, floaty thing, now is the time for me to get really serious about what I really want, what I really need in my life, and how that looks for me going forward. Your Moon card is basically you taking off the rose-tinted glasses this week. So this first week of the month. Your second week of the month, you've got the Strength card. So yeah, having the guts, having the heart to really go after what you want, but also to speak your truth and say, look, you know what, I'm happy to pay for this, this and this, but I'm no longer going to assume responsibility for what isn't mine. Maybe it's having the heart and the courage to say, you know what, as much as I like this, it's not serving its purpose, or as much as I like this, it's an overpayment. It's money or resources that I don't have at the moment to give for this thing, this service, this whatever. And the other thing as well, your Strength card is about what you want in your heart of hearts. You could start getting really honest with yourself now about what is actually a want and what is actually a need, and really starting to figure out what some of your true desires actually are. For your third week of the month, you've got the High Priestess. Hidden things come to light. So maybe hidden monies, hidden opportunities to make more money. Maybe you're privy to some sort of a job role that comes up within your own company, or maybe a job role comes up with a different company and it pays more. Maybe you weren't supposed to hear about it, or maybe it was an internal thing, but by some stroke of luck, or the hidden, you know, the High Priestess doing her thing, this is revealed to you. You could be talking about communications. There could be something that comes up this month, possibly with a mother figure or a parental figure, around money, around finances. So you could be really made acutely aware of this, or where this person might not necessarily be acting as conscious as they should or could. And then finally, for your fourth week, you've got the Sun card, right? So either way, whether your relationship stays together, whether your relationship ends, you are going to be fine. For those of you that are partnered, this person, like I said, very wealthy, very affluent, very well traveled, very likely to be somebody from, it could be someone from the Middle East, somebody that is, you know, from a different culture, a different background, but probably from a country or some place in the world that is hot. For your partnerships, like I said, whether it's ending or whether it's ending and completing, whether you decide to stay in your relationship, either which way, you are going to be absolutely fine. If it is an ending and a split, then it goes amicably, and everybody involved is kind of like, yeah, that's cool. How's the best way for us to untangle our lives? And for those of you that are, decide to stay in your relationship, it suggests that by having some of these bigger, harder conversations, you come to a place of true and ultimate blessings where you can say, right, you know what, this is us. Now, how are we going to ride it for everything that it's worth? And then finally, for your key to the month is the Temperance card, right? Your key to the month is Temperance. And this really suggests that you're going to be able to blend all of this. You will find ways to do all of this. It's like whatever comes up this month, you just find a way through it. You find a way to balance how you feel with what needs to be done, with duty, with obligation, all of it. It's like you find a way to traverse all of this and welcome in all of the things that you want. With this Temperance card being your key to the month, even if you're not necessarily spiritual, find some way to tap into the spiritual currents of life this month, and you will be heading in the right direction. Spiritual life is trying to come through for you and offer you the support that you need in order to make all of the right decisions for yourself, for everybody that's involved. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic month. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.